we all know that the NEP has come after 34 years, and the kind of conditions we have seen in 30 years before, and the kind of infrastructure, the facilities, the technology, the teaching pedagogy, the outcome-based education, program outcome, PEOs, graduate attributes. These are all buzzwords that we all know. And in last 2 decades, the NAC and NBA, the basic, these two major accrediting agencies have evolved the teaching learning environment in the country. And amidst this situation, when there is a lot of information available to the students, faculty, and researchers on their fingertips, which was not the case 30 years before. Now everything is can be accessed. And with this is a new era. The National Education Policy 2020 has come. It was available for the draft policy was available. It was available for comments and certain sessions. And I believe that more than 2,000 sessions were received by the authority. And then the final NEP has been announced by the government. I am also very sure that central government is very serious about this implementation of this NEP. I'll not talk a lot when Dr. Nimse sir is going to address us on NEP, because
I think there is a connectivity issue with sir. Give me a minute. Yes, sir is back now.
am I audible right now to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think there was some, I don't know what's happening. Anyways, so so uh, when the NAP was announced, I think uh, I think there are major two things wherein the governance and organizational restructuring, finances, and these are, I think, basic two issues which provide for effective implementation. In the sense, Dr. Nimse sir would always agree that earlier almost all governments they had committed around 6% of GDP on education. But if we could see in last 30, 40 years, 30 years, government has never spent more than 3% of GDP. It has been always, I think, around 2.4 to 2.7%. Never gone above. Gross enrollment ratio, which is approximately 25%, which is expected to be increased to, almost double it in next 2 decades. So I think the how much of money the funds the central government, the state government would put in, or rather invest in, uh, would probably decide the effective implementation of this policy. However, keeping that point aside, particularly from non-aided colleges point of view, I would request Nimse sir, to focus 2, 3 points. One, uh, what are the challenges to the teachers in the affiliated colleges, particularly non-aided colleges? Uh, because this policy says after few years, I mean after 20 years, all affiliated college status will be converted to the degree awarding autonomous institutes. And if that is going to happen, so I think the challenges and the responsibility, the credibility of each institute is very, very important. And how teachers should prepare in next decade for for these changes that government is thinking to bring in. So from that point of view, sir, if you could guide us, and also to the students, because information itself cannot be said as a knowledge. Huge information is available, huge data is available. What is the knowledge? What is, and how it needs to be pursued. Lot of emphasis has also been given on skill development. Lot of emphasis has been given on innovation, entrepreneurship development. So from that point of view, how students should prepare themselves and how faculty should prepare themselves in for next 2 decades, for at least for 1 decade, and how we can provide better access, equity, quality at affordable cost, particularly from this non-aided institute. I think that matters a lot. And from that point of view, sir, we would request you to focus, address our faculty with respect to the NEP and its impact on the higher education and probably the challenges for the teachers. So, sir, I welcome you on behalf of Sinhagat Technical Education Society and also on behalf of my institute, SKNCOP. And thank you for sparing your valuable time for guiding us. And I request you to guide us as long as you feel that we need I mean to feel at all points. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, sir, for setting a tone of this webinar. Moving ahead to give insights on this extremely prominent program, we have today Professor Dr. S.B. Nimse, sir, former Vice Chancellor Swami Ramananda Nimse, sir, participants of this webinar. Professor Dr. Nimse, sir, was former Vice Chancellor of SRTM Nanded University and Lucknow University, UP. Dr. Nimse, sir, completed MSc in Mathematics University, MPhil in Mathematics from Meerut University. He received UP Governor's Award for Distinguished Achievement in MPhil. He completed his PhD in Mathematics in 1982 from Meerut University. Dr. Nimse sir previously worked on with several positions such as Principal, New Art, Commerce and Science College, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, Director of Management Institute, Institute of Management Research and Rural Development, Ahmednagar, Director, MBA Center, IBMRD, Ahmednagar, Dean, Faculty of Science, University of Pune, now it is Savitribai Phule Pune University, Chairman Board of Studies of Mathematics, SPPU. He is a member of several national professional bodies and also member of the governing council of the Consultancy Development Center, Government of India, Ministry of Science and Technology, DSIR, New Delhi. Member Secretary, Member Steering Committee for 12th 5-year Plan on Higher Education, Planning Commission of India, New Delhi. Also, Secretary Admin, Indian Mathematical Society, Executive Committee Member and Sectional President, ICT Section of ISCA. Dr. Nimse has published more than 20 books on mathematics, several papers in national international journals with high repute, and many students have completed PhD under his guidance. Nimse sir has been invited to deliver lectures in different parts of the world. He had visited more than 15 or rather more than 20 countries for various academic purposes. Professor Dr. Nimse sir will now be sharing his views on National Education Policy 2020, and on behalf of our college, I take this opportunity to invite Professor Dr. Nimse sir to address the gatherings of academicians and scholars. Over to you, sir. Nimse sir.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Sir, please unmute yourself. You are on mute mode. Sir, please. Sir, please unmute yourself.
You're on mute. Hello?
Yes, sir. Sir, we can hear you now, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Sapan.
You are audible, sir.
Professor Vishal Damre. Thank you, everybody. Good morning to everybody, audience.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good
Shall I
morning,
go
sir.
ahead?
Good morning, sir.
Actually, National Education Policy 2020, I'm supposed to talk on it. We are talking on NEP 20 with the background of COVID-19. And because of COVID-19, we are forced to go on such a webinar. So it's a good chance for the people of our generation to get acquainted and get familiarized with the webinars, online webinars. That's why we have certain initial problems to start with. Okay, shall I start?
Yes, sir. Please,
Yes.
please, sir.
NEP 20 is a very hot topic for discussion nowadays, especially when Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, mentioned that government is very serious and he had addressed 2-3 seminars on NEP. His cabinet in July accepted the report of Kasturangan committee. Actually, this NEP 20 is the efforts of 6 years. First, there was a TSR Subramaniam Commission upon in year 2014. After demise of Subramaniam, Professor Kasturangan, who was a former ISRO chairman, he took over and he submitted a very detailed report, more than 400 pages. Then this is little modified, and the modified report, a brief report, summary report, is expected by Government of India in July. And then onwards, there was a lot of hopes to transform our education system. Actually, I know the members of this national education policy. Earlier, Subramaniam was also known to me, and now Kasturangan report. He was also General President of Indian Science Congress. I was also President. And another important member, Mr. Manjul Bhargav, a mathematician from Princeton. Actually, I invited him for Science Congress in Mumbai, and from then onwards, he get connected with the Government of India. He worked on national education policy, and he contributed a lot. He's a young field medalist, that is equal to Nobel Prize in Mathematics, and this is a contribution of uh, Canadian American, but of Indian connection, Manjul Bhargav. So, because of presence of Manjul Bhargav, we get a little international touch to our national education policy. And the report is very exhaustive. Basically, this report, NEP 20, is based on 5 principles. Access to all. That means education should reach to all nooks and corners of the country. Then equity in access, that means all sections of the society, all disadvantaged classes must receive the quality education. Then quality in education, not only equity, but equity with quality. Fourth is affordability. The education shall be affordable to all aspiring youngsters in the country. And lastly, accountability. There has the whole system has to be accountable to the nation. So access to all, equity in access, quality in equity, affordability, and accountability are the five principles on which this National Education Policy 20 is based.
Hello.
Actually,
Sorry to interrupt,
hello,
sir. Nimse, sir.
hello.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you please adjust the camera so that we can see you?
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Thank you very much, sir.
okay. Actually, you know that United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for, okay, that is, we accepted this goal by Government of India in the year 2015. We are supposed to fulfill this goal by the year 2030, and the goal says that SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goals of UN 4, says that quality education for all and lifelong learning for all. This is the SDG 4 of United Nations, and we are supposed to achieve it by 2030. Okay, and this is possible in A3 connected world. A3 means anyone, anywhere, anytime can be connected, and we are moving on the right direction. Okay, so using the technology, I think that quality education for all and facility for lifelong learning can be created in our country, and the important vehicle for that is National Education Policy 2020. Government of India, especially our Prime Minister, always mentioned that by 2030, our GDP shall be of 10 trillion American dollars. 10 trillion American dollars. And by 2025, it should be 5 trillion American dollars. This is a quantum jump in economic development of the country. And this is possible only if we have a enough supply of quality human resource. And quality human resource can be achieved through quality education. And we have the youngsters, the demographic dividend is there, but that has to be augmented with the quality education. Then only we achieve this goal. And from that point of view, the success of National Education Policy 20 is very much related to the national ambitions about the economic growth of India. Actually, nature of National Education Policy 2020 is of transformational. It is not just a changes here and there. There are total changes in the policy matter. It's a total game changer. Uh, we say because last policy that were accepted is 1986 National Policy on Education (NPE), and in that policy we say that after 34 years there is a change. But for me, it is change after 1857. 1857, we have started the university education in India to 3 universities, that is Kolkata, Madras, and Bombay, and that was only examining body and affiliating colleges. But this new policy is just demolishing this type of examinations, as well as there shall not be affiliation. So there is a total change. Whatever we inherited right from 1857 onwards to till date to 2020, if we implement this policy successfully, there will be a total change in the approach of higher education, both in assessment as well as affiliation. There won't be affiliation after some time on afterwards. Actually, mission of this National Education Policy 20 is building equitable and vibrant knowledge society rooted in Indian traditions and values. I will repeat it. This is a mission of this policy: building equitable and vibrant knowledge society deeply rooted in Indian traditions and value systems and ethos. That's why some people criticize this policy as turning the clock back, we are going to old system. It is not like that. What we want actually, we want to globalize our higher education system, but at the same time having the Indian touch, or whatever ancient knowledge is there, it has to be properly embedded in the globalized new system of higher education. And that's why they are given example. For example, they talk about the Ban Bhatta's Kadambari, which talk about 14 Vidyas and 64 Kalas, and about Ayurveda. So this is just an example. This example only suggests that we'll, we'll extract this ancient knowledge in India and fit in modern education system that we are going to build, uh, taking into care the international changes in education. So from that point of view, it is a well blended modern uh, education policy. So I'm not going to buy the idea of some critics that we are going back. It's not like that. Actually, we are internationalizing our higher education system. In a simple words, present higher education system is by and large is a British model, but new system is by and large is American type model. I will explain why it is. So we are making it more and more globalized. I will talk only in short about school education, because this policy talk comprehensively right from pre-primary to PhD program. In school education, there are little changes. It is this model is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. First 5 is foundational stage, that is pre-primary of 3 years plus standard first and standard 2. Then there is a preparation primary level, that is third standard, fourth and fifth. We start subjects. Then there is another upper primary level, that is sixth, that is sixth, seventh, and eighth. That is the upper primary level. And upper primary level, the upper primary level means third, fourth, and fifth. Sorry, and middle school is 6, 7, 8. In middle school, there is going to be a full vocationalization, and that is a paradigm shift, because in a middle school level, students are just become mature, so they will get some skills as well as actual education. And when they go for upper primary, upper secondary school, that is 9, 10th, and 11th and 12th, 9 to 12, 4 years, they will get both academic education as well as skill education. 9 to 12, there will be a semester system, board examinations, and board examination will be very flexible. They have to earn minimum credit, so that it is expected coaching culture will be get away, because exam system will be very flexible for 4 years, 8 semesters, and student has to clear minimum credits, and that is the changes in school education. But I think that most changes are in higher education that is of interest to us, that are nearer to our heart. Higher education has to be, as per the NEP 20, multidisciplinary and holistic. Multidisciplinary and holistic. There will be no more classification into faculties. We are going to demolish faculty walls. Okay. For that, we have to demolish first top structure of governance. Presently, through Education Ministry at the national level, we have University Grant Commission along with 14 different councils. You people are well aware with AICTE, Pharmacy Council, and all these things. There are such 14 councils. Now, all these 14 councils, they will be there, and UGC will have a different role, but there will be a top body called as HECI, that is Higher Education Commission of India, and that will control all type of education except law and medicine. Because they are professional, they need license for legal practice as well as medical practice. Higher Education HECI, that is Higher Education Commission of India, will have 4 verticals. First vertical is NHERC, that is National Higher Education regulating council. So whatever role present councils are doing, that will be taken over by NHERC. That will be uh, new regulating bodies, but regulation will be little different at the arm's length, meaning thereby uh, no physical interactions. Everything will be virtual, but rules will be very strict. You know, our present hierarchy system is always criticized as far as governance is concerned, right from the National Knowledge Commission days, year 2020, 2000. You know, there is a famous sentence in National Knowledge Commission report. And that sentence is, our higher education system is overly regulated but under governed. There is a lot of regulations from council, but governance is very weak. That's why this overly regulated but under governed system is supposed to be get transformed into light but tight. Less rules, less regulations, but better governance. Less but tight. That is the philosophy of this Higher Education Commission of India, and that four verticals are: first is regulating, that is NHERC. Second is HEGC, Higher Education Granting Council, or Higher Education Grant Council. That is will do the work of present UGC. The third is NAC, NAC Assessment Body, National Assessment Council. Fourth is GEC, General Education Council, and that will comprise of all the present 14 council. So all the present 14 council will be part of General Education Council, fourth vertical of this new body, and it will be work as a feedback mechanism. They will not regulate, but they will work as feedback mechanism, assessing the achievement of higher education in different subject or different discipline. This GEC, General Education Council, will be more or less facilitating body, providing new ideas, but not regulating. So this is the four verticals. I will repeat. HECI will have four verticals: NHERC, Regulating Council; HEGC, Grant Council; NAC, Assessment Council; GEC, there is a General Education Council. So this is the overall new set of governance as envisioned in NEP 20. You say higher education means university education by and large, and the new this NEP 20, the whole ideas of university change. It means university is a university. In India, presently we have the state university, central university, private university, deemed university, specialized university like a sports university, health university, agriculture university, and so on. So new policies recommend that there should be only university, simple concept of university. Maybe for a from the content point of view, may classify in three: a research university where there is a more emphasis on research and less on teaching. Then a research and teaching university, there is a equally good emphasis on teaching. And then third is degree awarding autonomous colleges where mostly teaching will take place, less research, but teaching is more. So our presently more than 1,000 universities, more than 45,000 colleges, and some institutes of specialized studies has to get transformed into universities, autonomous universities, all of them, and their numbers will going to reduce from present about 46 to 47,000 to mere 15,000, and they will be basically multidisciplinary education and research institutes, or HEI, higher education institutions. So this will be a structural transformation. Okay? No deemed, private, central, state like that. And that's why to have some model, the policy suggests that central government should establish some MERU. MERU means multidisciplinary education and research university. There are so many acronyms in this policy document, and MERU is one of them. And government is going to start newly establish some MERU as a role model transfer our existing university structures, college structures. Okay? Our program, degree program will be of two types, then 3 years and 4 years. 4 year degree course, there will be lateral exit and entry points. Okay. If you complete first year and leave the institution, you'll get a certificate. Second year, diploma. Third year, degree. If you take a fourth year, you get a research degree. And if you get a research degree, you can have 1 year's PG education, post graduation. If you have a general degree of 3 years, you'll have a 2 years post graduation. There won't be a MPhil degree. After research degree, 1 year post graduation, you can go directly for PhD program. Okay. And it is presumed that you have to internationalize all our curriculum. Okay. And success depend on what type of curriculum we introduce. And also one of the important aspect of this policy, this structure is teacher education. After all, the most pivotal role to play in the transformation is that of teachers. And teacher education is seriously thought of in this policy, because present B.Ed colleges, I will not talk right now what kind of training they get, what kind of teachers we turn out of present B.Ed colleges. This policy suggests 5 years integrated BA B.Ed program, 3 years degree plus 2 year education, 5 years instead of present 3 plus 2 years B.Ed. It's integrated 5 years. At the same time, they provide lateral entry. After 3 years degree course, you can join the last 2 years of the integrated program. Or after 4 years research degree, you can join the last years of the B.Ed program. So there is a total change in the structure of teacher education institutions, and it is expected they should be part of the regular colleges, so that other facility can be shared from it. Standalone B.Ed colleges are not recommended in this new policy. They should be a part of the degree awarding institutions only. Most of what depends success of this policy on the governance. Okay, governance is important. We have a lot of policies. For example, 1948 we have the Education Commission, University Education Commission headed by Radhakrishnan. Then we have famous National Education Commission by Kothari Ayog 1966 to 68. And there are so many very pious and well-studied recommendations. But success depends on the governance, and present governance has to match with the ambitions of the program, mission of the policy. For example, today's governance is not compatible with what we experiment in the colleges. I will give the example. There was an ambitious program of the UGC that by 2016 there has to be choice-based credit system at every level, and choice-based credit system needs total autonomy, autonomy to the institution, autonomy to the teacher, autonomy to the student. So in the present system of mathematical system, this autonomy is not there. So simply choice-based credit system, even a aim is very good, very pious, it will not going to deliver the fruits because governance present is not compatible with that. Similarly, for administration also, okay, our affiliated system has a very complicated administration system. And if you have standalone autonomous institutes, our administration process can be streamlined further. We'll spend less time in administration, more time on academic activities, so that governance is very important. And from that point of view, this policy spell out clearly what type of governance has to be there for both HEI and schools. That is for university and autonomous colleges, and for schools, there has to be a board of governance, and it has to be totally independent, arm's length from the government for the university and autonomous colleges. Board of governance, BOG, they have described their structure. And for school also, there has to be independent, free from the government education officers, Directorate of School Education. Every state must establish Directorate of School Education. It should work independently without the interference of state government. Then only all this can be achieved. Another feature of this policy is that education is a public good, it is not for profit, no commercialization, okay, and there should not be a distinction between private and public education. They should be at equal level, equal standard, okay, and government should spend more than 6% of GDP on education. Plus, there has to be enough money from private efforts also. Then only this policy will succeed. Okay. Assessment part, it says that it has to be regular and formative. That is semi-assessment, internal assessment, continuous assessment system has to be there, and it has to be regular and formative, not like a summative. That is at the end of the course or at the end of the semester or end of the year that we do in most of the cases. We have to replace summative aspect to formative and regular. No rote learning. That is the aim of this policy. Okay. Actually, about the curriculum and pedagogy, there is a basic principle mentioned in this document is that curriculum and pedagogy, we must keep in mind while designing it, promote, learn to learn. That's the basic ethos or principle of this policy. Promote among the student, learn to learn. And that can be done. And then if you do this, if students are learn to learn, then we can do with the little less content. Now our programs are heavy contents are there. The policy says that content has to be moderate, but more stress on critical thinking, problem solving. And for that, we have to develop logical thinking and applications of the knowledge in the minds of the student. And student's mind has to become more creative and innovative. Okay? And with all this, even with less content, we can achieve more goals. Actually, I will just, it's my interpretation. This is based on the philosophy. In management, there is one management guru mentioned that there is a market, it is marketing principle. We call it in mathematics N equal to 1 and R equal to G, meaning thereby in any business, if you want to success, N equal to 1 means you concentrate on individual customer. Your customer is student, and R equal to G means you provide resource global. Resources are has to be global. So any business, any enterprise can be successful if individual will be provided from the global resources. Similarly, thanks to the technology, individual student, each and every student has a different potential to grow. Every student is a unique. So if you provide the global resources of education to all the students with the technology, these all ambitious aims of NEP can be achieved. Further, there is a criticism that this policy not talk about the Industrial Revolution 4.0. This is wrong because this policy is a use this a overall structure. It won't give the details. You know what is a Industrial Revolution 4.0? For that, we must understand first what is after agricultural revolution that took place 10,000 years. We have entered the era of industrial revolution, industrial society. First industrial revolution is in, we talk about 1716 onwards. The thrust is start. First industrial revolution, 1760 onwards. There is a steam revolution, steam engines moving the railways and steamboats. That was the first revolution. Second industrial revolution, 1875 onwards. That's is fostered by electricity and assembly line manufacturing. Third industrial revolution after 1960, it started with the computers, mainframe computers after 1960. Then our uh, desktop and all this digitization. Then after 1919, there's the internet. All this after 1960 onwards, there is a mainframe computers or internet or digitization. It's a third industrial revolution. And fourth one is after year 2000, and that is a all about. It's more sophisticated and more integrated. It is it is dominated by the technology that is just like a Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and all these things. So there is some. I read some articles on NEP that they say that this is not talked about Industrial Revolution 4.0. But I think that it is not expected from the policy document. It is a matter of details because this policy overall describe the structure of the education system and the type of governance it needed to implement this structure. Basically, again, one more difference from the present policy that we practice from school to colleges, and in this policy, it is a entry versus exit. Okay. Nowadays in India, there is a lot of emphasis on entry point. We less bothered about exit. What kind of graduate, what kind of school pass out we create. We more concerned about the admissions. This policy emphasizes more on uh, outcomes of the system rather than what kind of input we get for the system. The outcomes are measurable. They has to be seriously measured. They has to be anticipated. So more weightage on exit. That is what kind of students will pass out, turn out from the system. And that is a good thing because a country like India, lot of diversity, we cannot expect uniform standards for at entry point or admissions, but we expect a quality output of all of them. Actually, the policy success depends on two things. One, spirit and uh, spirit and interest of the spirit and intent of the policy must be guarded while implemented because education in India is in a concurrent list, state government, central government, and there are a lot of pressures from financial side also. So while implementing this policy, this present government is going to implement it, seeing from the Prime Minister's resolve. The spirit and intent of the policy must be guarded. Detail can be changed, but the very spirit and intent we should not dilute. And secondly, this policy has to be implemented in a phased manner with proper sequencing. You cannot uh, implement all the parts of the policy simultaneously. We cannot implement in a haphazard manner. It has to be a phased manner and proper sequencing in the content, primary to PhD level. I think that this policy also speak about some important landmarks. Okay, and that landmarks are supposed to be achieved by successful implementation of NEP. I will just quote a few landmarks. By the year 2025, it is anticipated that 50% students in school and colleges must get exposure to vocational education. This is a very uh, ambitious landmark or ambitious goal. Within next 5 years, 50% of both school-going students and higher education learning students must have some kind of vocational education. Present our vocational education is very bad. At least 6 to 8% students get a kind of vocational education. That's why there is a job problem. Job markets is totally mismatched. There are jobs, no takers, no qualified students. There are millions of students who are not getting jobs because we don't have the proper vocationalization of education. This policy document emphasizes that by 2025, 50% students in colleges and high schools must get quality, relevant vocational education. In South Korea, right now, 92% students get some kind of vocational education during their education. India is just 6 to 8%. Second landmark, second goal is by 2030, that is after 10 years, all the higher education institutes shall become multidisciplinary. Single, okay, one discipline institutes, very special institutes, okay, there has to be numbers has to be minimized almost zero. By 2030, all higher education institutes shall become multidisciplinary in their related program. At least, okay. So they should not be too narrow specialized institutes. They has to be multidisciplinary, at least in their related programs. By 2035, third milestone is okay. GER, that is gross enrollment ratio, meaning thereby students in the age group of 18 to 23 going for higher education, okay, must reach to 50%. That is, student youth population between the age group of 18 to 23 must be in higher education. 50% of them must be in higher education by 2030. Today, our GER is 26%, and we have 3.5 crore students in higher education. If you want to go for 50% by 2035, we need